You are Friday. Yo, what is up, Crocs and Clan members, Poke fans, and others who some fun this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen here once again with another Viewer Friday. Today's request comes from here, but wanted me to talk about Team Galactic versus Team Plasma versus Team Flare. I would have really preferred it to be based on the games because I have more knowledge of that and it's a lot easier for me to talk about it. But he requested specifically the anime, and that's what I want from you guys. I want specific things, you know, when you request a video, give me specifics. The first thing I want to bring up, right, I had to look up what Team Galactic did because Diamond and Pearl is kind of like a blur to me. Like, there's a lot of things I don't remember about Diamond and Pearl. And the worst part about Team Galactic is the fact I didn't really care for their plotline. And, like, I always felt that Hunter J was a much better villain in that series. And while, yes, she technically did have a role in, like, the last part of the Team Galactic saga, it was, like, the end of that mini arc. So it's just felt like, I mean, she was used a lot more consistently throughout the series. So I don't know, to me, I felt like she was a better villain. So because I couldn't really even remember what Team Galactic did, I'd like look it up. So I'm gonna start with that, and then go to Team Plasma and Team Flare, just so I can do it in order. And then I guess I could give an overall. I can't even pick one of them because, like, I'm gonna say straight up right now, the fact that I did not remember Team Galactic automatically puts him out of the race. Team Plasma's role was really relegated to like a small, like, 10, 12 episode arc because of how rushed some of the stuff in Black and White was, and the fact that there was an actual issue that happened. Like Team Plasma was supposed to be introduced near the beginning of Black and White, but because of some issues that happened in Japan, I think it was an earthquake or something happened to where they couldn't even have that happen. So that arc was never actually introduced, relegating them to a small part, which is the end saga. And then Team Flare is still kind of new, so, like, I can't really pick a favorite. Like, if this was the games, I'll tell you right now, Team Plasma is definitely my favorite out of the three. Team Flare is the worst, and then Team Galactic is, like, the second one out of the three. But Team Plasma is definitely the best in terms of the game. But the anime is just kind of weird. So like I said, let me try to go through each individual team, and then I kind of give kind of an idea of each individual one. So Team Galactic, they were introduced around, I guess, like the third quarter of the series, where they were the whole, like, Ash being with Azel, Brock with Uxie, and then Dawn with Mesprit. That whole plotline of, you know, there's like the chosen heroes and all that stuff, and you know, Team Galactic trying to kidnap the three Lake Guardians so they can summon Dialga. I don't even remember which one it was. I just looked it up. That just tells you a lot. So literally, just like Team Galactic, like, was sprinkled in here and there, but like that, it kind of was like a mixture of Platinum with Diamond and Pearl aspects, you know, in terms of the games. Because they were still looking for the Lake Guardians, but instead of resurrecting, because like Cyrus disappears at the end of that whole shebang, but it wasn't because of Giratina. And I honestly, like I said, I just looked it up and I already lost it again. I don't know. I think he summoned Dialga. I don't know if he summoned both. But the point is, like Cyrus went through a portal and it just disappeared, and then everybody else, Charon just disappeared, right? The scientist dude who was introduced like in the later half of that arc, because of Platinum, and so like he just flat out left, and then all the commanders were arrested. But I don't know, like I said, Hunter J. I just feel like Hunter J was a much better villain, and even like she actually did most of the work. Like, she's the one that actually got the Lake Guardians. Like she was given a task, and she did it. Like, she's the only character, like, I guess, right, like, villain character that's actually been successful in capturing or stealing and selling off Pokemon. Like, she's the only character who has ever succeeded in this, I guess, market. I don't know. I just feel like Team Galactic was like a background villain team. Like, they didn't feel like a huge deal. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that they tried, the fact that it was 3 late Guardians and they were able to like connect them to the 3 main characters, like Team Galactic didn't do shit. Like, most of the grunts were irrelevant most of the time. They didn't do shit. Like, I honestly can't even remember what the hell Mars did. I know that Saturn had an issue with Brock with the whole Croagunk and Toxicroak thing, but I literally, for the life of me, cannot remember what the hell Mars ever did. And, like, I don't even know. Did Jupiter? I can't even remember Jupiter in the anime. Like, when I looked it up, I read, like, a short synopsis. I didn't even see Jupiter being talked about at all. Like, the only one that I think did anything was Saturn, and it's because of the rivalry between his Toxicroak and Brock's Croagunk. That's literally the only thing I remember about Saturn at all. I literally can't even remember what the hell Mars' main Pokemon was. And I think Jupiter had a Stunky or a Skuntank. Like, I just feel like the fact that there was another villain character who did their role better just kind of gives me a perspective that Team Galactic wasn't even worth the damn. Like, at least when it came to like the Hoenn Saga, Team Magma and Team Aqua, there's 2 teams, right? There's 2 teams that are being based. They actually succeeded in their efforts. Groudon was revived, and so was Kyogre. But there was no other like mysterious third character arc or villain character that kind of took the spotlight away from the 2 teams. There's already 2 teams in there. And when you add Team Rocket into the mix, having another character in there doesn't really help your case. And because of how well Hunter J was executed, Team Galactic I don't feel like Team Galactic, I don't really think there was any, if they had made Hunter J part of Team Galactic, like an anime exclusive character for Team Galactic, then I think that they would have been able to do a lot more. But the fact that they made her like a separate entity, like a paid for hire, like a hunter for hire, and not a part of any exclusive team, kind of just, she took the spotlight away from Team Galactic. At least in my opinion. I know I talk a lot of shit about Diamond and Pearl. I can admit Hunter J was cool. Okay, she was actually a badass, and she actually achieved a lot of her goals. She actually took Pokemon, and the gang couldn't do shit. Like, she's the only character to be able to do that. I guess Jessie when she stole the Yanma, but like the Yanma was a wild Pokemon, so that doesn't really count, I guess. I don't know. To me personally, I just feel like Hunter J was just too good for Team Galactic to compete. And then you had Team Plasma, which their problem, like I said, there was supposed to be another arc in the beginning of Black and White. They had plans to introduce Team Plasma very, very early on in the saga, but because of the problems that happened in Japan, they couldn't do that. That episode will probably never air, because at this point it's too late. There's actually no reason. Like, if they had done it back during the Black and White saga, like maybe like a little bit later, sure, but at this point it's too late. Like, there's no reason to ever... I mean, I guess if you want to try to show the potential that could have been the Team Plasma saga, I guess, but it's not going to do anything for the story. So, like, they literally... I feel like Team Plasma got cheated, because I still think they're the best done villain team in the video game franchise. So I still say Black and White are hands down the best Pokemon games in terms of story, and they just got shafted. Like Team Plasma, like they didn't even show. Like the original Team Plasma was barely even in the end arc. It was literally just Neo Team Plasma, which is kind of like the worst version of. Like both teams are still technically cool. Like they still have their purposes. And the stories of both games are still really, really cool. But I feel like Neo Team Plasma is the worst version of Team Plasma. So the fact that we only got to see Neo Team Plasma doing stuff kind of just felt stupid. And like, and wasn't even able to play his major role, which is what the way he was in the games, which was the third wheel, right? The third character who's like, you have your character, you have Getsis and Team Plasma, and then N, which is supposed to be like the face of Team Plasma, but also like a third party, because he doesn't really like do like any villain shit, but at the same time he's a part of Team Plasma, so he's kind of like a third party in that little triangle. But in this case, he was just a friend of Ash. He never technically interacted with Team Plasma as a member of it. He was literally always like running away from Team Plasma. Like Getsus didn't even get to do what he was supposed to do, which is act like a father mentor to N. Like, that whole arc from the games was just not even in the anime. So I feel like the fact that the arc was so short, it was rushed. They only showed Reshiram. I mean, Zekrom was in the first episode of the series, and he wasn't even a part of the N arc. I don't even think Zekrom showed up again, now that I think about it. So, like, the fact that they only focused on Reshiram kind of made it to be like, this is like the Pokemon White version of the games, because like Ash then has Zekrom and then N gets Reshiram. But at the end of the day, it just felt like really, really rushed. And the whole mind control thing with Chorus would have been cool if they had more time to flesh that whole machine art. I don't even know what, like, I feel like that could have been done a lot well, because realistically speaking, we didn't really see too much of the mind control aspect. We saw Pikachu get controlled once, we saw Meowth get controlled once, and then the next time that they used the machine in the climax, Reshiram is fighting against it, and so is Pikachu. So, like, I don't know. To me, I just feel like Team Plasma got the short end of the stick in this scenario. I still think, in terms of the games, they are the best villain team. And I feel like if they had had more time, and if they had been able to start the Team Plasma arc when they were planning on doing it, they probably would have had the best team arc in the entire series. But because they were relegated to a small 10 to 12 episode little mini arc, kind of screwed them over. Now, like I said, you always got to include Team Rocket in a lot of this whole like villain stuff, because Team Rocket is there. So one of Team Rocket, they're always there because Jesse, James, and Meowth are technically main characters. And like I feel like the thing that would have helped them a lot more is if they had done the Team Plasma arc in the beginning when Team Rocket was actually fucking amazing. That could have been a clash right there, because then you got Team Rocket doing all this shady shit. Team Plasma, the way the first game, right, the first two games made it look like they were saviors of Pokemon, so that you could have had the clash of these people are trying to steal Pokemon and manipulate them for war, and then you got Team Plasma to kind of make you side with Team Plasma, make them seem like the good guys, get you to trust them, because that's the whole point of the games. Like, even though they had you fighting against Team Plasma, because sometimes some of the things they do kind of didn't make sense, you were still struggling with your own ideals, because they were questioning what you were doing. So I think that would have been great as an arc to do, like for Ash and, Iris and Silent and all that stuff, if Team Plasma was seen as the good guys, and the fact that they're constantly questioning your own morals and whether it's right to have Pokemon as, I guess, slaves, but they're not, obviously they don't consider them friends, but like as slaves. So there could have been a much better dynamic. So I don't hate the Team Plasma arc. I just felt like it was way too short. Like, I feel like they literally got screwed over by time restraints and that one incident in Japan. And then when you come into Team Flare, they technically have an entire season's worth of development. So I think that Team Flare has the most out of any of the previous teams, because usually they're relegated to an arc. Like Team Rocket in the first season, they had their personal stuff and the whole Giovanni thing with Mewtwo, which ended up relegating to the movie. Season 2, I don't even remember. Was Team Rocket even a part of that? I don't even remember what happened in Johto very much. Team Magma and Team Aqua, that was a mini arc in the middle portion to like the later half of that of the saga. Team Galactic was a small arc as well, and then Team Plasma was literally Team Flare is the first team that has like a huge season's worth of development, and even then it hasn't really been all that fleshed out. There's things I still question about it. Lysander barely showed up to Ash in the league, right? So this is the Japanese stuff. The main the leader of the villain team, right, just barely interacted with the main character. At least every other like, I don't even think Giovanni ever interacted with Ash, now that I think about it. I don't think he did. But, you know, Maxie and Archie interacted with Ash. Cyrus actually talked to Ash before they found out that he was a villain. Obviously, Ash met N, so, I mean, I guess, I don't know if you count that. Obviously, the whole Getsus thing, he was at least told about Getsus. Nobody, like, Ash didn't know anything about Lysander. He didn't know who he was, where he was from. He didn't know anything about this man. He just barely met him. So I feel like this is the latest that the main villain leader meets the main character, so that one was weird. I like the fact that they did create an original character with Alon. The problem being is that some of the stuff they're doing, like the whole league thing, I still think it was bullshit. I do not see any reason for him to participate in the league. Like, there was actually no reason for him to be in the league. And I don't know, because like I said, I don't watch the sub. I don't know if they've explained the reasoning for him being in the league. Because at this point, I just think it's complete bullshit. I like the whole Mega Evolution aspect of Lysander trying to, you know, basically sapping away the energy of Mega Evolution. The Zygarde stuff, I guess, is the main thing. Because, like, the thing about Team Flare, right? The thing about Team Flare is they are the worst team in the games. Like, hands down, Team Flare is the worst team in the games. They've kind of made them somewhat interesting by adding the Zygarde plotline. If it wasn't for Zygarde, Team Flare would probably, again, be just worthless villain team like always. If they were still pulling that same shit they were doing in the games, I think Team Flare would honestly be the worst. But the fact that they have the Zygarde plotline as, like, their own original concept, it can kind of make Team Flare more interesting, right? Now, their arc is still not over. They're just technically starting now what the big climax of the arc is. So I can't really say for sure whether it'll turn out good or not. Some people's hopes are up. At this point, I really don't care about the anime right now. Like, I think it's the X and Y has just been trash this whole time. So there's obviously good points here and there, but there's just too many flaws with it to me to where the point I don't really care. I feel like they're gonna screw it over in some way, shape, or form, and it's just gonna be like, well, that was all pointless, like the rest of the saga. But you know, whatever. It's just, but Team Flare, like the thing about Team Flare is, they have the opportunity to be great, right? They have the potential to be great. But that's just been the theme of X and Y. A lot of things have potential to be great, but then they screw it over in some way, shape, or form. Or they don't flesh it out enough, or it's rushed, or it's unfinished, or it's unnecessary. Like, there's just a lot of problems with this saga. And I personally, while I would like to be hopeful, the track record right now is not good, so I don't feel like they're gonna do a great storyline. Like the way I've been envisioning it is basically Black and White, but in X and Y. Like the game's Black and White in X and Y, where the gym leaders like rise up against Team Flare. Like, that's been my biggest like hope and dream for this saga, but it's not gonna happen. Sure, Clement's probably getting. I was told Clement's gonna get involved, but that's because they're in Lumio City and they attack Jim. Like, sure, it shows that he still cares about being a gym leader, but where's everybody else? This is an active, like, I guess, and they're basically trying to start a war. Like, why aren't the other gym leaders involved in any way? Like, that's the one thing that confuses me. Diantha has yet to show up again. Diantha needs to show up, and so does Sycamore. Sycamore knows Lysander. There needs to be a clash there. And so, I mean, I don't know if they haven't showcased Diantha and Lysander ever interacting like they did in the games, which was kind of a thing that made her somewhat relevant to the story in the games. But no, not at this point. Like, she hasn't met Lysander, so we don't know what the connection is. And we still have no idea what the hell they're going to do with Malva. Malva is has a big role in Team Flare, and nobody's questioning anything. She's an Elite Four member, and she's basically cooperating with the enemy team. I think there's just too much on that play right now, and I think we're going to fuck it up. But I will give the fact that they did make Team Flare sound interesting, unlike the games. If I have to pick one because of potential, Team Flare. But I think that Team Plasma got screwed over. If they had done what they were planning on doing, I think Team Plasma would definitely have been the best. And Team Galactic, honestly, I'm sorry. I know I always bash on them before, but the fact that I did not remember anything and I had to look it up just shows Team Galactic was worthless. Like I said, Hunter J was a much better villain in that saga, to the point where Team Galactic just felt like they were in the background. Like, they needed, like, they were so much in the background that they required Hunter J in the end to do what they were planning on doing. And like I said, I do not remember for the life of me what the hell Mars ever did. The only one I remember out of those commanders is Saturn, and it was because of the rivalry with Brock. That was it. It's just, I'm sorry. It's that bad for me. Diamond and Pearl is just a blur for the most part. There's a lot of things I don't remember about that saga, and it's because I just didn't care for it. I still think, like, Team, obviously, X and Y, I will hands down say now, is the worst saga. But before that, it was Diamond and Pearl. So, at least in my eyes, it was Diamond and Pearl. So when I try to remember a lot of the plot points or a lot of the stuff that happened, I just see it as a big blur because there was a lot of just bullshit episodes that made absolutely no sense or just uninteresting to the point where it's all, like, there's just long stretches of random nothingness. So, I don't know, I think that's the thing that hurts that series for me, is the fact that I didn't really care enough about it to remember a lot of it. Team Plasma is lucky that it was the last saga. I'm sorry, it was so short though. I think that's the thing that made it to where I could remember it, the fact that it was so short. But like, and then Team Flare is obviously the one I'm watching right now, so obviously they're the freshest in my mind. But I don't know, I'm sorry. I can't back up a team that to me personally feels like they were in the background. I just can't. So I guess Team Galactic does last. Team Plasma had, they were just screwed over. So I can't really rate them as the best because realistically speaking, they weren't as good as they could have been. And Team Flare has the most potential to be great. So, and they are technically different from their counterparts in the game. So I gotta give them props for that. But yeah, I guess that's it for this this video. But here, let me know what you think. Are you happy with my, I guess, conclusion? I don't know what you were expecting. I think you just wanted me. I'm pretty sure you just wanted me to talk about the team individually. I hope I achieved that purpose. If you have anybody else has a request, but here you can also make another request. But if you guys have a request for future Video Fridays, let me know in the comments down below. Tweet at me, message me on YouTube, send me a message on Facebook. Don't Google Plus me anymore. I mean, you can do it. I'll get the message, but just know that I look at that the least right now, and then I will add it to my queue. I have a sheet of paper. I have a notebook actually, where I write down all the requests. I cross it out after I do them, and it's basically like this is the next Video Friday, and this one. So it's basically got a list. So if you tell me your request, make sure to tell me specifically what you're looking for, right? Don't just do, hey, do a video on this, but don't go into full detail so I have a full idea of what to talk about. And then I will add it to the list, and then as soon as the videos I put forward are done, then yours is the next video. And you can recommend videos whenever you want. Like, you can ask for a Viewer Friday in any of my videos. It doesn't just have to be these ones. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry for the long-winded video, but I have been SoresanCrockxen, and I'll see you guys in future videos.